imagine. Imagine if I could show you how to take that day-to-day stuff that weighs you down, that gets you stuck in that quagmire of thinking on that hamster wheel, get you out of that and actually be able to put that SHIT behind you to be able to move forward in your love and in your power, and to be able to move forward and do what you want to do. I'm Carol Serby. I'm with Omineca Healing Institute, where we're releasing trauma and disease triggered by repressed emotion. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode where we're really learning to follow your map. And when I say that, I mean your body is a map. And when you have pain, illness, injury, and disease, it's actually your body's way of communicating with you what's going on, what you're ignoring, what you need to face, what you need to deal with to literally get past in order to allow those stresses, those blockages to be able to release so that you can move forward and get better and get what you want. So here we're revolutionizing the way that you understand that happens. So today I've got some really cool stuff for you today. I want to talk to you today about putting things behind you. So this comes up. How many times have you been in a conversation with somebody and either they've said or you've said, Carol, I just can't get past this. Carol, I can't get through this. I just can't. I need to get over this, right? Do you hear the language? I need to get through. I need to get over. I need to get past. It's like something is in front of them, blocking them. Or once they've burst through that, they'll say, oh yeah, that's in my past. Oh yeah, that's behind me. Oh yeah, I can walk away from that. Again, listen to the language. It's behind me. I can walk away from it. I can, so you get what I'm talking about. So a lot of these, let's call them energy, for lack of a better word. Energy is kind of a frou-frou word, but because these can be all-encompassing and they're different for everybody else, I think the word energy is quite appropriate, because you'll know it's negative energy, it's bad energy, it's fearful energy, it's whatever your energy is, okay? So how do we do that? Well, I'd like to do this little exercise with you. I think it's a really, really cool one. And it's actually one that I do right in my home office here. And it's one I do with people. Now, this is just a portion of a bigger process, but I think it's really interesting that I can pull this portion out and actually show you. So I'm going to give you a minute here, just a minute. And I'd like you to think of something. Think of a time in your life when you felt really, really good. Like really, really, oh. I can just feel that just go, yummy, yummy, right? So you feel really, really good. And once you haven't, and just pick something. We don't have to, when we're doing exercises like this, just to get a taste on how things work, we don't always want to pick the biggest thing, okay? But just pick something that makes you feel really, really good. Maybe it's ice cream. Maybe it was the date you had last week. Maybe, whatever. Doesn't matter. Good for you, okay? So what I'd like you to realize is that somewhere in your body, there's a feeling that's created by remembering that, okay? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to reach out and touch where you feel it. Me, I feel it in my heart. And with your other hand, in first impression, I'd like you to reach out somewhere out in front of you. You have an image that represents that feeling. I'd like you to reach out and touch it. Okay, excellent. Good. So now, let's grab that picture and let's bring it down in front of you. Okay? Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make that picture bigger. And notice what happens with the feeling. Okay? I'd like you to bring that picture closer to you and notice what happens with the feeling. Okay? Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make it even bigger. Take it up, wrap it around yourself like a blanket. and notice the feeling. You can hear my voice change because I'm noticing the feeling. Okay, so unwrap it, bring it back in front of you, put it back to its original size. Okay, pretty cool, hey? Pretty cool how you can grab onto a feeling and make it feel bigger and make it feel smaller, okay? Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take that picture and I'd like you to put it behind you. What happened to the feeling? It's changed. It's not quite, it might be there a little bit, but it's not quite there. You want it back? Okay, let's grab it, bring it back in front of you, and let's put it back where you originally found it, and let's leave it there. So we as people have this ability to literally take these things that are hanging out in our proprioceptive nervous system, our aura, the things that we might refer to as blockages or things that are in our way, and we can literally put it behind us, okay? So where a lot of my clients get stuck is they're faced with a situation, and usually people come to see me because they're faced with negative type of situations, confrontations at work, or confrontations within the family, or they're running from fear, or that kind of general stuff. Of course, it gets a lot deeper, but and what I want you to realize is when we have all of these pictures, all of these things in front of us that we can't get past, right? What happens is now, because they're in our face, so to speak, when we're faced with a new situation that triggers the gestalt of those feelings, so pain, anger, shame, guilt, hurt, those types of feelings, what it is it is truly a trigger, okay? Truly, we are remembering how we felt last time we were faced with this. And we're responding to our paleocortex, the ancient brain's need to survive. Okay, so let's take an instance at work. Maybe you're in a situation at work where, maybe you've had to take a leave because of some stuff going on. Now, there's probably a good percentage of your reaction to whatever's happening at work is based on the fact that you're remembering the thoughts, feelings, emotions, events that occurred in past similar feeling events, rather than reacting completely to this event in and of itself. So when you have all these feelings of, let's say somebody's shaming you. When you have all these feelings of shame, they get stacked and stacked and stacked and stacked, and you don't clear them. So you have like 10 layers of shame that, again, your coworker is, they're trying to add to it, but you've got so many layers of shame that you can't really even react to the shame that they're trying to add to. You're reacting to the 10 layers that are in front of you. So we're actually remembering more than we're actually thinking or reacting to the trigger that's currently in front of you. You're still reacting to the trigger that happened 3 years ago and 5 years ago and 4 years ago and right back until somebody shamed you for peeing your pants when you were 3 years old. That's how these layers work. So it's cool to know that these layers of course, like I said earlier, it gets a little deeper than the exercise that we did. But it's cool to know that we can literally take these layers and put them behind us. We just need to know how. We just need to know how to access those things, those layers, and how to get them behind us. Because sometimes they serve us. So we're not really motivated to put them behind us, are we? And this is what I find really interesting about a lot of the psychosomatic disease that I deal with, is that when you look at what someone gets out of being sick, chances are it was something they were trying to get before they got sick, but for whatever reason felt as though they weren't getting it. I need more attention from my husband. Okay? Those of you that are in your mid-50s, mid-40s, you probably understand what I'm talking about. I need more attention from somebody. So what happens if I make myself sick and now they're forced to give me attention? Probably not the attention you want, but just like a little kid who acts up, attention nonetheless. Right? So I find it really interesting when we start to dig into some of the past, some of the history, from an observer point of view, how these correlations are really, really, really quite interesting and quite cool. So there you go. So we did a little exercise, and I just want you to be aware of now, whenever you're faced with anything that triggers you, you know, and in a negative point, from a negative point of view, right? Because when we're triggered to be happy, that's a good thing, right? So when you're triggered from a negative point of view, just be aware how much of that you're being triggered from past events, from filters that are already in place, as opposed to from the actual event that's happening in front of you right here, right now. So if you have any questions, or you love this content, please leave a question, share it with your friends. I do watch my feeds, so I'll be happy to answer any questions that come up. And if you would like the opportunity to work with me, by all means, you can go to ominecahealing.ca. You can book your free 30-minute clarity call where we'll talk about this kind of stuff as it relates to you, okay? It's free, there's no obligation. I'll give you all the advice I can give you. I'll give you all the direction I can give you. I'll direct you to all my free content. You know, I have over 150 videos on YouTube, so there'll be something in there that'll give you a little bit of relief. So book your free call at ominecahealing.ca. Sign up for our newsletter. It's just once a month, ominecahealing.ca. I just send you out a digest of all of these types of videos and any blog posts that I write, which I don't do very often. I prefer to just work on camera. It's all good. And as we're talking, I'll offer any ideas. I'll offer any feedback. And as we're chatting, of course, you'll be able to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me. And we can talk metaphysics. We can talk science. We can talk hypnotherapy. We can talk blockages, chakras, meridians, whatever you want to talk. It's all good. And just so you know too, I also offer monthly workshops and lectures locally here in Prince George, and I am working on making them available online for those people that want to participate that can't do it live. I'm working on putting together a membership program for that. So thank you so much for joining me. It's our purpose here to really help support you in your courage, support you in your clarity and listening intuitively to the mastery that's already in your body. Your body's already trying to show you. And we want you to live full throttle so that you can be the example and give others permission to do the same. So thank you so much for joining me here today, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.